wrap it up with, because we were going to a discussion off camera about how interesting it can get when somebody takes your music, or if you have money outstanding that you can't go get. There are a lot of things, as I've pointed out, that a music publisher does, and our job as songwriters is to realize what music publishing is, and then go get a music publisher. And that might be somebody who runs their own company, who only handles, you know, small clients, or that might be a big publisher like Sony ATV, where you have to go get them to do the 5 functions. But you have to have somebody out there exploiting your music, getting the administration done, going to collect the money for you, and making sure that you're protected as a songwriter. So thanks for now.
And wait, hold on. Yeah. You wouldn't have to pay them anything up front. The money comes from when they
so basically you, the music publishers work, and why you hear stuff like, I got an advance on music from a music publisher, like I got an advance on the deal, is they know that there's money out there waiting for you, or that your future, you'll future write songs and there'll be money out there. You don't pay anything up front. You either sign it and it's flat out and there's no money, or they pay you now and say, okay, any money that we collect, we'll take back that money first. And so it's called a recoupable advance. So they'll give you 50 grand, and then they'll go start getting their 9 cents until they get 50 grand. So they'll collect the whole pie until it's over 50K.
Basically like a visa, a prepaid visa.
Yeah, so basically they give you some money, and then they say, okay, we'll go find.
We'll take it out from your, okay.
And also while we're at it, we'll go to lunch, and then we'll say that you paid for it. Because we're all in the industry together, and we'll go to a songwriting camp, or we'll go here, and we'll take a flight, and we'll charge it to your account as well. So now it's not only 50K, you owe us
70.
You owe us 70K now. And so you'll start seeing some money once we get things. So you gotta watch. So now that you know what music publishing is, you can go talk to your publisher and say, hey, I want to see my account. What was this dinner? What was this dinner? What was this thing? You gotta be smart as a songwriter.
You gotta have a lawyer before you get a publishing deal, man.
Well,
just how does a publisher?
Before you write your first song, you're supposed to have a lawyer, apparently. Right?
How does a publish like contract look? Do they have contracts and stuff that you have to sign with them?
For you.
What is like whatever?
Well, basically, so say someone from here gets a publishing deal, and they have 10 songs that they've written already. Those songs will be attached to the sheet, and they'll say, okay, we're your publisher. We are your 50% for, or whatever the deal is, if it's 30-20 or whatever, or 30-70. We're your publisher for these 10 songs, and for any songs that you write in the next 5 years.
Oh, they lock you down like that?
They lock you down, or they might say 1 year, but mostly it's 5 years.
Is it like they don't tell you right off the bat?
Yeah, they'll tell you. They'll tell you.
Oh,
and they'll say it's 5 years, and they'll say any songs that you write then, and these 10 songs, we're the publisher for the life of the copyright, which means our copyright is, as long as the writer's alive, they're collecting it, plus 50 years on top of that. So it's a long asset that you're letting go by signing a publishing deal. So someone who wrote I'm Dreaming of a White Christmas, that song is still in copyright. If it gets played on TV, you have to pay for it. If it gets played on the radio, which it does every single year, you have to pay for it. The writer of the song, long since dead, but not dead enough. Not dead for more than 50 years.
Because the
copyright's still alive. So you're signing that away.
And what is like some tips that you give any new artists, like independent artists?
Let me just take an example of like the artists that are coming out of right? They produce their own album, or at least 5-track album that's all original, and they own the copyright to that.
Yeah.
What's
like a next step?
I'd say their next step is to do the exploitation part. Is because at this point there's not a lot of, because if you're giving away a few CDs, if you're selling them for $10, there's not a lot of money hanging around to start splitting things up, and it takes a lot of time, as you can imagine, to set up your own publishing company even if it's not registered, just to set up the administration for it, where you're like, okay, I sold the CD for $10. Basically, I owe myself as a songwriter 9 cents per song that's on that CD, and you start breaking it up, and it's like you've done all this work for what, $400 or something like that. So your basic job as your publisher is to politic this CD into other co-writing sessions where you can start writing with some bigger songwriters and getting bigger songs out of it, where songs that might get cut by Drake or might get cut by Katy Perry or something like that. So some mainstream or not mainstream, or just bigger, because the more a song sells, the more you get paid as a songwriter. So if you're your own publisher, your publisher's going to want to get you in the room with Katy Perry, because then you guys will sit there and write a song that's going to end up on her album. And that's worth a lot more than you sitting down and writing a song by yourself that's never going to get played anywhere. So that's a big one.
Exploitation is basically what? Expanding and...
So exploitation
how would you describe exploitation?
Exploitation is taking your existing songs and getting them cut by bigger artists. So there might be a great song on one of the PMAA CDs that R. Kelly wants to sing, or that Keisha Cole wants to sing, because Keisha Cole doesn't write all her own music, right? So she needs new songs, and the way that you meet up with Keisha Cole, she was just in Toronto, her management was in Toronto, you go find out who her manager is through like the search, right? We just did a Google search, you find out who she is, and you start following on Twitter, and she says, hey, I'm in Toronto this week, does anyone want to hook up? Or maybe she doesn't. Or you hit her up on Twitter and you say, hey, look, I'm a songwriter, do you mind if I take you for lunch? Same way you do business, same way you'd go get like a plumbing contract or something like that. You got to start doing business with these people. And so you start doing business, you take Keisha Cole's manager out for lunch, you have your iPod there with headphones, listen to this song. I'd love Keisha Cole to sing this. She's like, oh, I hear elements of this. She's going to want Keisha Cole to be a writer on the track, because right now you own 100% of the song. She's going to say, do you mind if we get this in studio and rework it? Now Keisha Cole ends up with half of the song. But now you get half of a Keisha Cole song. So that's what I mean by exploitation, is getting your music out. Getting your music out.
So like collaborators.
And I'd also suggest that you start doing, or to the participant, just start trying to get some syncs. So start trying to get some music into film and TV. There are a number of productions done in Toronto. You, because you're your own publisher, got to start doing some paperwork now, finding out who those production companies are and how they get their music. And they may just get their music, they may have a cool music supervisor who plays in a band. You go watch that band and then go hit them up after the show and say, hey, I hear you do music supervision for Degrassi. And he's like, yeah, I do. And you're like, hey, I'd love to get one of my songs on Degrassi. And he's like, oh, do you have a CD? Give him the CD. Or send me the music to my email. And he'll listen to it, or he won't. But he might listen to it more if you buy him a drink after the show. It's the same way a plumbing contract or whatever.
It's like bribing.
It's all bribing, but you know
business.
You do business. It's called doing business, right?
Yeah.
If I don't know you,
like
you might show up on the table. Straight up.
Yeah. So
that drink might change the man's mind.
Yeah. So I say definitely the exploitation, the administration part of things. I say have some fun, register your songs with SOCAN. It's a good exercise for you in life in general, just to do that sort of paperwork. But at this point, you're just tracking your unless as you can see, if the song's not getting played on radio, there's nothing to track. If it's not getting produced on CDs in mass quantities, there's nothing to track. And if it's not getting played on film and TV, there's nothing to track. So yeah, do the work, do the SOCAN stuff, because it's fun and it's a necessity when things pop off to be registered with SOCAN. But your main thing is to get on bigger songs or make your songs bigger and cut by bigger artists. Cool? Cool. All right.